Why silence terrifies so many. Silence is powerful. It strips away the mask, the noise, the distractions. That's why it scares so many people. In silence, your real thoughts rise to the surface. In silence, you hear the doubts you've been burying, the insecurities you've been ignoring, the pain you've been numbing. That's why most people can't handle it. They'd rather drown it out than face it. But let me tell you something. Silence isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. The question is, will you run from it, or will you sit in it long enough to listen? Because the moment you stop fearing silence, you start hearing the truth. And truth, no matter how hard it feels, is the foundation of strength. Alone does not mean weak. We've been conditioned to believe that being alone is a sign of weakness, of rejection, of failure. But alone does not mean weak. Alone means strong enough to stand on your own 2 feet. Alone means you're not defined by the approval or company of others. Alone means freedom, the power to shape your life without waiting for permission. Think about the strongest people you admire. At some point, every one of them had to walk alone through doubt, through pain, through uncertainty. And it was in those moments, not surrounded by crowds, that their true strength was forged. So don't confuse solitude with weakness. Weakness is needing others to feel whole. Strength is standing tall, even when no one else is by your side. Noise versus solitude, the real battle every day. You face a battle, noise versus solitude. Noise comes from everywhere. Social media, endless conversations, the pressure to always stay connected. Solitude, on the other hand, is quiet, uncomfortable, but full of power. Most people choose noise because it's easy, it distracts them from their own thoughts. But easy never builds strength. Solitude is where growth happens. Imagine 2 people. One spends every free moment scrolling, while the other uses silence to reflect, to create, to grow. Who do you think will be stronger 5 years from now? The one who chose solitude. The real battle is not against the world outside. It's against the urge to run from silence. Win that battle and you win control over your own life. What you will discover on this journey. If you dare to embrace solitude, you will discover things about yourself that you never imagined. You will find clarity in your thoughts, strength in your silence, and direction in your stillness. You will realize that you don't need the constant noise of the world to feel alive. You already carry that power within you. Alone, you'll see your fears more clearly, but you'll also discover your courage. Alone, you'll feel your doubts rise, but you'll also find the strength to crush them. This journey isn't about isolation. It's about transformation. It's about learning that the very thing you feared most, being alone, is the key that unlocks your best self. And once you learn that, nothing and no one can shake your foundation again. Why society teaches you to fear solitude. From a young age, society teaches you that being alone is something to avoid. Look around. Kids are told not to sit by themselves at lunch. Adults are pressured to always be social, always be available, always stay connected. If you choose solitude, people assume something's wrong with you. Why? Because a person who is comfortable being alone cannot be controlled. You won't buy into every trend, every distraction, every demand for attention. You'll start thinking for yourself. And that's dangerous in a world built on keeping people distracted and dependent. Think about it. The strongest leaders, the greatest creators, the visionaries who changed history, none of them were afraid of solitude. They embraced it. But society keeps you busy, keeps you distracted, so you never build that power. The question is, are you going to keep following the crowd, or are you willing to break free and use solitude as your strength? The endless need for validation. One of the biggest reasons people avoid solitude is the constant hunger for validation. They need the likes, the comments, the approval of others to feel alive. But here's the problem. When your worth depends on outside approval, you will always be a prisoner. You'll do things you don't believe in, just to be accepted. You'll silence your own voice, just to fit in. And the worst part, that hunger never ends. It doesn't matter how many people cheer for you. The moment they stop, you feel empty again. But when you learn to be alone,
you learn a different truth. You learn that your value does not shrink when no one is watching. You learn that the applause of others is nothing compared to the quiet confidence you build in solitude. The need for validation weakens you. The ability to stand without it makes you unstoppable. Afraid of silence or afraid of yourself? Here's a tough question. Are you really afraid of silence, or are you afraid of what silence reveals? Because when the noise fades, the truth comes out. The truth about your habits, the truth about your fears, the truth about the person you've been avoiding becoming.
That's why people panic when they're alone. The silence becomes a mirror. It reflects everything they've been running from. But avoiding silence doesn't erase the truth. It just delays the confrontation. And every day you avoid it, it grows stronger in the background. But the moment you face it, you take back control. Think about it like standing in a dark room. At first it's scary, but the longer you stay, the more your eyes adjust. Suddenly you see what was always there. Silence is not the enemy. It's the light that reveals what you need to change. The mirror of solitude. What you're running from solitude is like a mirror. It doesn't lie. It doesn't flatter. It shows you exactly who you are. And that's why so many run from it. They don't want to see the wasted time, the broken habits, the dreams they've abandoned. They'd rather stay distracted than face the reality of what they've become. But running doesn't solve anything. It only deepens the cracks. The mirror of solitude, though painful, is also the most powerful tool you have. Because once you face it, you can change it. Once you see the truth, you can shape a new one. Think of it like a warrior sharpening his blade. The process is uncomfortable, but without it, the blade stays dull. Solitude sharpens you. The real question is, are you brave enough to look in that mirror and start sharpening? Or will you keep running until it's too late? The price of avoiding time alone. Avoiding solitude might feel safe in the short term, but it comes with a heavy price. You never build inner strength. You never discover who you really are. You live a life based on noise, approval, and distraction. And when it all fades, you're left with emptiness. Look around, so many people collapse when the crowd leaves, when the attention fades, when the noise dies. Why? Because they never learned how to stand alone. But those who embrace solitude pay a different price. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's hard, but it rewards them with clarity, strength, and peace that no one can take away. So ask yourself, which price are you willing to pay? The price of short-term comfort that leaves you weak, or the price of solitude that builds you into someone unshakable? Because either way, you're going to pay. The choice is yours. Solitude is not isolation, it's power. Too many people confuse solitude with isolation. They think being alone means being cut off, unloved, unwanted. But solitude is not about cutting yourself off from the world. It's about connecting deeper with yourself. Isolation drains you. Solitude builds you. Isolation is running away. Solitude is stepping into the fire and choosing to grow stronger. The world has lied to you, made you believe that being alone is weakness. But the truth, the ability to stand by yourself, to sit in silence, to carry your own weight, that is power. Because when you master solitude, you no longer fear being left. You no longer fear rejection, abandonment, or loss. You stop clinging. You stop begging. You stop needing. Solitude gives you independence. Solitude makes you whole. And when you are whole, every connection you choose is out of strength, not desperation. Remember this. Solitude isn't loneliness. Solitude isn't emptiness. Solitude is strength under pressure. Solitude is freedom. Solitude is power. The mental gym, training in silence. Think of solitude as a mental gym. Just as the body grows stronger under resistance, the mind grows sharper in silence. Most people run from silence because it feels heavy, uncomfortable, even painful. But that's exactly the point. Silence is resistance, and resistance is what builds you. In solitude, every distraction is stripped away. You're forced to confront your thoughts, your fears, your patterns. That's training. Journaling is training. Meditation is training. Sitting in stillness and not reaching for a screen is training. Every rep builds mental muscle. Every minute in silence adds strength to your mind. And here's the truth. If you don't train in silence, you break in chaos. Because life will test you with storms, with loss, with uncertainty. And if you've never practiced standing strong in solitude, you'll collapse. But if you've trained, if you've built your mind in the silence, you'll stand unshaken. Solitude is not wasted time. Solitude is your gym. Why the great minds chose solitude? Look at history's greatest thinkers, leaders, creators, Marcus Aurelius, Nietzsche, Einstein, Jobs. What did they all have in common? They embraced solitude, not because they hated people, but because they understood something deeper. Greatness is built in quiet. Distraction kills depth. Noise kills clarity. But solitude gives the space to think, to create, to see the bigger picture others miss. Do you think Einstein discovered relativity while scrolling, while gossiping, while endlessly distracted? No. He stepped away, he thought, he worked in silence. The same is true for you. If you want to do something extraordinary, you cannot drown in the noise of the ordinary. You need space. You need stillness. You need solitude. That's why the average person fears it, because solitude exposes them. But the great embrace it, because solitude elevates them. If the ones who shaped history needed solitude, what makes you think you can live without it? Silence sharpens. Solitude strengthens. Think of silence as a blade, and solitude as the stone that sharpens it. Every moment you spend in stillness, you are sharpening your awareness, your focus, your discipline. Silence cuts through the lies you tell yourself. It cuts through the noise of the world. It reveals what really matters. And solitude strengthens what silence reveals. Alone you build routines. Alone you master your craft. Alone you cultivate the inner discipline that no one can see, but everyone will feel. Together, silence and solitude are a weapon. And here's the truth. The world is full of dull blades. People who never sharpen themselves because they fear stillness. They stay distracted, stay weak, stay unprepared. But you have a choice. You can embrace the discomfort, sharpen in silence, strengthen in solitude, and walk into life with an edge no one else has. Remember, silence sharpens, solitude strengthens. That's how warriors are made. Where the weak break, the strong are forged. Life has a way of testing everyone. Storms will come, people will leave, failures will hit, and when that moment comes, you'll either break or be forged. The difference? Solitude. Weak people crumble the second they're alone. They beg for comfort, for distraction, for someone else to carry their burden. But the strong, they've already trained in solitude. They know how to stand. They know how to endure. They know how to fight alone. And that's why solitude is not punishment. It's preparation. Every hour you spend alone, you are forging yourself for the battles ahead. You are building resilience others will never understand. You are creating an inner strength that no storm can shatter. The weak avoid solitude because it feels like breaking. The strong embrace it because they know it's forging. So the next time life puts you alone, don't see it as abandonment. See it as the fire shaping unbreakable steel. Guard your mind, time, and energy. Your mind, your time, your energy. These are your greatest assets. Yet most people give them away like they're worthless. They let anyone dump negativity into their thoughts. They waste hours on meaningless noise. They burn energy on people and problems that don't matter. Guard them. Protect them like a warrior protects his shield. Because once they're drained, you can't get them back. Every distraction steals focus. Every wasted hour steals progress. Every toxic influence steals peace. Ask yourself, who gets access to my mind? Where does my time really go? Who drains my energy and who strengthens it? Choose wisely. Guard fiercely. Because the stronger your guard, the stronger your life. The hidden cost of toxic people. Toxic people don't just waste your time. They poison your soul. They plant doubt in your mind. They drain your energy with constant drama. They steal your focus with endless negativity. And the cost, your peace, your progress, your potential. But here's the truth. You don't owe anyone access to you. Not family, not friends, not anyone who bleeds you dry. Cutting them off isn't cruelty. It's survival. Keeping them close is what's cruel. To yourself.
Ask, what is this person costing me? If the answer is my peace, my focus, my growth, the price is too high. The hidden cost of toxic people is your future. Don't let them rob it. If they cost your peace, they're too expensive. Peace is priceless. Without it, nothing else matters. And yet, how many people do you let disturb it? How many situations do you tolerate that constantly drain it? Ask yourself, is the argument worth it? Is the drama worth it? Is this relationship, this job, this circle, worth my peace? If the answer is no, then the truth is simple. They're too expensive. You cannot afford people who cost your calm. You cannot afford situations that rob your clarity. Peace is the foundation for strength, for focus, for true living. Don't trade it for anything. Don't bargain with it. Protect it above all else. Because the moment you lose your peace, you lose yourself. Silencing the noise, gossip, drama, and distractions. Noise is the enemy of growth. Gossip, drama, endless distractions. They keep you stuck in circles while your future slips away. Every minute you spend talking about others is a minute you could have spent building yourself. Every hour lost in drama is an hour stolen from your progress. Noise feels easy. Growth feels hard. That's why most people choose noise. But you're not most people. Silence the gossip. Cut the drama. Starve the distractions. Redirect that energy into learning, creating, training, building. The less noise you allow, the louder your focus becomes. The world doesn't need another echo of gossip. It needs the voice of someone who built in silence. Your life is a garden. Pull out the weeds. Your life is a garden. Every thought, every habit, every relationship is either a seed or a weed. Seeds grow into strength, clarity, discipline. Weeds grow into chaos, regret, wasted time. The problem, most people water their weeds. They feed toxic habits. They nurture toxic people. And then they wonder why their life feels overgrown with problems. The answer is simple. Pull out the weeds. Ruthlessly, without hesitation. If it chokes your peace, it doesn't belong. If it steals your energy, it doesn't belong. Create space for the seeds that matter. Discipline, focus, purpose. Because a strong garden doesn't grow by chance. It grows because you protect it. Guard your soil. Choose your seeds. Pull your weeds.
Solitude. The training ground of strength. Strength isn't built in crowds, it's built in solitude. Alone is where you meet yourself without masks, without noise, without escape. Most people run from that silence because it feels uncomfortable, but that discomfort is the training ground. It's where your mind hardens, where your discipline forms, where your clarity sharpens. A soldier doesn't wait for the battlefield to prepare, he trains in silence. Your solitude is that training ground. Every hour you endure it, you sharpen your edge. Every day you embrace it, you rise above the average. The world avoids solitude. That's why the world is weak. But if you can stand alone, if you can grow in silence, you become unbreakable. Alone isn't empty. It's where strength is forged. The disciplines that shape you. Journaling, meditation, learning solitude is wasted without discipline. To grow, you must train the mind as much as the body. Journaling sharpens reflection. It forces you to see your thoughts instead of hiding from them. Meditation builds control. It teaches you to command your mind instead of being dragged by it. Learning expands your vision. Books, study, and focus practice stretch your potential far beyond distraction. These disciplines don't just pass time. They shape you into someone sharper, calmer, stronger. Most people spend solitude in consumption, numbing the silence. You must do the opposite. Journal, meditate. Learn every page, every breath, every lesson compounds. These are the quiet disciplines of the strong. They're not glamorous, they're not loud, but they are the foundation of a mind no storm can shake. Distraction versus discovery. The choice you must make. Solitude gives you two options: distraction or discovery. Most choose distraction. They scroll endlessly, drown in noise, fill silence with anything but themselves. But distraction is decay. It numbs the pain but robs the progress. Discovery, on the other hand, requires courage. The courage to sit with your thoughts, to ask hard questions, to face truths you'd rather ignore. But discovery transforms. It uncovers clarity. It sharpens vision. It fuels growth. Every time you're alone, you stand at this fork. Will you waste it in distraction, or will you dig into discovery? The average numbs. The strong explore. Don't trade your solitude for empty noise. Trade it for the discovery that will rewrite your life. Don't waste solitude. Invest it. Most people waste solitude like loose change. They spend it scrolling, binging, escaping. But solitude is not something to spend. It's something to invest. Every hour alone can be deposited into growth, training your body, sharpening your mind, building your craft. And like any investment, it compounds. The workout you do today, the book you study tonight, the journal entry you write this morning, each small act stacks into unshakable strength. Waste it, and you stay stagnant. Invest it, and you rise beyond the crowd. The question is simple. Will your solitude become debt or wealth? Don't waste it. Don't numb it. Invest it, because time alone, wisely used, pays dividends for the rest of your life. The workshop of the self. Build or decay. Solitude is a workshop. Inside it, you are both the craftsman and the raw material. Every day you enter, you either build or you decay. If you train, reflect, study, you build strength, wisdom, and resilience. If you waste, avoid, escape, you let your tools rust, your foundation crack. The silence doesn't care what you do with it. It only reflects your choice. That's why solitude is dangerous for the weak, but powerful for the strong. The weak avoid the workshop. The strong pick up their tools and build. Every page written, every skill practiced, every thought disciplined is another brick in the fortress of who you are becoming. So ask yourself, when you step into the workshop of solitude, are you building or are you decaying? Facing the truth, loneliness is real. Too many try to deny it. They mask it with noise, cover it with distractions, pretend it doesn't exist. But loneliness is real. It cuts deep. It weighs heavy. To pretend otherwise only makes it stronger. The first step isn't running from it. It's facing it. Admit it. Feel it. Let it sting. Because truth is power, and only when you face loneliness head-on can you begin to turn it into something greater. Loneliness doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're unworthy. It means you're human. And being human means you can transform it. Stop hiding from the truth. Stand in it. Own it. That's where change begins. A hidden signal. Loneliness is a call to grow. What if loneliness isn't just pain, but a signal, a call, a reminder? It's telling you something is missing. Not that you're missing something. It's not punishment. It's direction. Loneliness says there is more in you waiting to be built. Instead of fearing it, listen to it. Ask, what part of myself have I neglected? What discipline have I ignored? What growth have I delayed? Loneliness is not a wall. It's a signpost. It's the universe pointing you back to yourself. The weak treat it as an enemy. The strong treat it as a message. And those who listen don't just survive loneliness, they rise through it. Like hunger, loneliness points to what you need. Hunger doesn't mean you'll starve forever. It means your body needs fuel. Loneliness works the same way. It doesn't mean you'll always be alone. It means your soul is asking for nourishment. And that nourishment doesn't have to come from others first. It can come from you. From building yourself, training your mind, strengthening your body, expanding your knowledge. Hunger reminds you to eat. Loneliness reminds you to grow. Ignore it, and you weaken. Answer it, and you strengthen. So when loneliness comes, don't treat it as doom. Treat it as a guide. It's not a curse. It's a compass. Turn the empty space into creation and growth. Loneliness leaves an empty space. Most people rush to fill it with noise, with shallow distractions, with anything to avoid silence. But the strong use that space differently. They turn it into creation, into growth, into progress. That empty space is not a void. It's an opportunity. Write, train, build, learn. Every moment spent filling that emptiness with creation, instead of consumption, transforms you. It turns loneliness into a forge. The weak waste the space. The strong use it as the foundation for who they're becoming. Don't fear the empty space. Claim it. Fill it with something that will outlast the pain. Will loneliness break you, or remake you? Loneliness is a test. For some it breaks them. They sink.
They numb. They give up. For others, it remakes them. It sharpens their focus, fuels their discipline, pushes them to grow in ways they never imagined. The pain of loneliness is real, but pain is power when used correctly. The question is not whether you'll feel it. The question is what you'll do with it. Will you let it break your spirit, or will you let it remake your strength? The choice is yours. The pain won't decide for you. You will.
The truth you've been running from. Most people spend their lives chasing validation, desperate to be seen, desperate to be accepted. They run from silence because silence exposes the truth. You don't need anyone else to prove your worth. The fear is not in being alone. The fear is in realizing you already had everything within you all along. That's the truth most run from. Because if you accept it, excuses vanish. You can't blame others for not giving you what you never needed in the first place. Facing this truth is uncomfortable, but freeing. The chains break the moment you stop running, the moment you stop begging for approval, the moment you finally stand in your own power and say, I am enough. You are already enough with or without others. Think about it. How many years have you wasted waiting for others to tell you you're worthy? How much of your power have you handed away, hoping someone else's approval would complete you? The truth is simple, but most can't bear it. You are already complete. You are already enough before the applause, before the relationships, before the recognition. When others add value to your life, it's a gift, but it is not your foundation. You stand on your own. You breathe on your own. You build on your own. Stop searching for pieces outside yourself. You are the whole. When you grasp this, everything changes. You no longer beg, you choose. You no longer cling, you stand. Better off alone than bound to the wrong people. There are chains that don't look like chains. Relationships, friendships, circles that drain you rather than build you. Many would rather remain bound to the wrong people than face the silence of being alone. But alone is freedom. Alone you can breathe, you can grow, you can rebuild. Being tied to the wrong crowd rots you from within. Being free, even in solitude, strengthens your core. Better off alone than surrounded by noise. Better off alone than trapped in shallow approval. Better off alone than shackled to those who stunt your growth. One day you'll look back and realize solitude was never the enemy. It was the rescue. Dependence weakens. Independence strengthens. Dependence feels safe. It whispers, don't worry. Someone else will carry you. Someone else will decide for you. But safety is not strength. It's weakness disguised. True strength is built in independence, in standing without leaning, in choosing without waiting, in carrying your own weight, even when it's heavy. Dependence makes you soft. Independence makes you unshakable. When you rely too much on others, you hand them the keys to your life. But when you rely on yourself, you become untouchable. The world may try to shake you, but you'll stand, because your foundation isn't borrowed. It's built. Stop waiting for rescue. Be your own savior. Too many waste their lives waiting for the right partner, the right mentor, the right friend, the right moment. They sit in the prison of dependence, hoping someone will unlock the door, but no one is coming. And here's the secret. The door was never locked. You don't need rescue. You need responsibility. You need courage. You need the decision to rise. Every second you wait, you shrink. Every second you act, you expand. Stop waiting for rescue. Be your own savior. Save yourself with discipline. Save yourself with focus. Save yourself with relentless action. Freedom doesn't come to the one who waits. It comes to the one who moves.